Hello, I'm Sadie Miller, and this is The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Whovians, one and all. This is The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil, and welcome. For those of you who just come by, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time watching, please, thank you. Today, we got a special episode today. We're going to be honoring an incredible woman and an amazing character, Sarah Jane Smith, better known as Elisabeth Sladen. We had lost Miss Sladen 13 years ago, on this month, April 19th. Can you guys believe it's been that long? We've lost our good friend Sarah Jane Smith, and we're going to be discussing her. And we want your experience. If you've met her, if you've been to a convention with her, if you know your experience as far as seeing her for the first time on Doctor Who, or maybe you've seen her in other shows and that nature. When did you start seeing Liz? Was it back in the PBS days with Tom Baker and John Pertwee, or did you catch up after class reunion? Well, everybody, welcome again to The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Let me go ahead and take down that banner. And I'm still getting used to the new show buttons because this is my first time. Not only am I hosting the show, our producers are on assignment right now. They're taking care of things. And yes, I'm going to be introducing our team out here. And don't forget to say in the chat, say hi. So let me go ahead and bring in our team who's going to be talking about the lovely Elisabeth Sladen. And we're going to go ahead and start off with this gentleman right here because he's late. The Reverend, oh my God, Tom goes like, yes. I was screaming at you in your chats. It's like, get over here.
I'm on Twitch doing something, and all this thing mess on the phone.
That's right. Welcome, Reverend Amagon. on youtube.com/TheRatHole.ca. Check him out over there. How you doing, Tom? Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm recovering, but I'm doing well, thank you.
Gotcha. Is your microphone okay? Because we're getting a lot of muffles. It sounds like you're on your computer mic.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Can
you hear me now?
We always start off with technical problems. Hi there, Jim Farr. Hello there, CBB. And Roger, hello there. Yes, rest in peace, Liz. Tommy, you okay? Is everything working on anything?
I thought the mic was working.
Okay, it's much better. It's much better out there. How you doing, Tom?
Just when I think I'm gonna rest, and they pull me back in.
You get no rest, no peace for the wicked.
No respect.
Speaking of the wicked, let's bring in our other host today, our other co-host, the Candyman.
Okay,
happy St. George Day, my friend.
Happy St. George's Day. So all the British in America, you still got a couple of hours to celebrate St. George's Day, have a pint of cider or whatever you want, but remember, drink responsibility and enjoy today.
Now, for our folks who are on this side of the pond who are not familiar with St. George's Day, could you tell us a little bit about what that holiday is for you guys?
Right. Well, it's not an official holiday, but it is a national day.
Thanks, Rob.
It's like St. Patrick's Day for the Irish. Each country has their national saint in England and Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. And our one happens to be St. George.
Okay.
Which is like the famous film St. George the Dragon. Quite famous for the St. George's Cross, which you'll see in England with the white background and red cross. And that's called the St. George's Cross. So it's like his national day in England. So happy St. George's Day.
Gotcha. Well, to everybody and our friends over in the UK and the pond, or anybody who's just celebrating happy St. George's Day. When's St. Patrick's Day? Or do we already have it all?
March 17th.
March 17th.
It was in March. Okay. Wow. Oh, yeah. And Roger brings us up. Happy belated Earth Day, which was just a couple of days ago. So to the planet, another circle around the sun. You made it. Congratulations. Speaking of congratulations, I don't know where I was going with the segues. Here we go. Nick Smith.
I can't help you with that one. I'm sorry. I'm excited because I'm actually going to visit the home of Who, the UK, in June. Get that candy. I'm going to find that chocolate. So the Candyman keeps waving under my video nose, and I'm going to have some of that.
Not going to get any. I'm going to hide it.
You're going to hide all the candy. Well, that's a challenge. I like a challenge.
Just give him all the Turkish delights that you can humanly possibly get.
Yes, Turkish delights.
Which is just, it is a barb soap wrapped in chocolate. That's all it is. It's the most disgusting
We are talking about Fry's Turkish Delight, not normal Turkish Delight. It's Fry's Turkish Delight in a pink packet. It is soap covered with chocolate. Yep, I perfectly agree. The worst chocolate bar ever.
So don't hide that, because I like it. We'll come and get it.
Wow.
Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with Elisabeth Sladen herself, give you a little bit of a background for those who may be new to the WHOniverse out there. Liz Sladen, she was born, hold on a second. I got my notes here. Liz Sladen was born on February 1st, 1946. You know how hard it is to navigate around these things. She's very famous for being alongside John Pertwee, the Third Doctor, and Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor. She also reprised her role in 2 spin-offs. Actually 3, if you want to technically call one of them a spin-off, but K9 and Company. She was actually asked back to do more episodes, I believe, between Tom Baker and Peter Davison. I think I read somewhere that she was actually asked back to do that, and she said no. But she said she would be more interested in her spin-off, K9 and Company, with the one and only episode, A Girl's Best Friend, which featured K9. Where is he? See, I can't do this by myself. There we go. K9 and Company, a Girl's Best Friend. And she was featured in that with K9. And for those of you who may be familiar with the 5 Doctors, K9 was in that, and it was her dog, Not the doctors. I think it was K9 Mach 3, if I'm not mistaken, out there. But I digress.
No, I think you're correct, because I think Mark 1 went to Leela, and Mark 2 went to Romana, sorry.
Romana, yeah.
And Mark 3 went to Big. But truthfully, they're all the same dog, according to Matt Irving.
Well, in that case, I feel shit. Anyway, she would continue on with Tom Baker out there, and she started her career as a young kid when she was interested in ballet and theater, and her first drama role, which led her into Doctor Who, was a series called Z-Cars, and she was recommended for the role in Doctor Who for Sarah Jane Smith. At the time, there was Katie Manning was leaving, Joe Grant, and they brought on a new companion out there for Sarah Jane. And she would make her run in an episode called Robot, which started, I believe, December 28th, 1974. It was per premiere. And she would go on to do other episodes, The Ark in Space, which I love sincerely, the Sontaran Experiment, Genesis of the Daleks, Touch These Two Wires. I mean, she was in a load of episodes that are my favorite, and today still are my favorite, and with one of my favorite doctors, Tom Baker. She would... Oh, your computer crashed. I just got your... Tom! Your computer just crashed. Nice! Later on, she would leave the role of the Doctor, I believe back in the late 70s, and then she would not be seen again until later on in the first episode called School Reunion, which is I think the second or third episode. If anybody wants to correct me on that, I think it's the second or third episode of David Tennant's run. And I still love this picture to this day, which if you're listening on radio, it's Rose and Sarah Jane poking fun at the Doctor. And you just got to see the episode to believe it. It was just nice to see Sarah Jane back in all of her glory. Sarah would marry her love of her life, Brian Miller, in 1968. They would have one daughter named Sadie Miller, which you saw in the intro before you came in. And if you want, I can run her again. But this is the lovely Sadie Miller.
Hello, I'm Sadie Miller, and this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Unfortunately, 13 years ago, on the 19th of April, we had lost Elisabeth Sladen to pancreatic cancer. But her trail throughout the Whoniverse has not been unnoticed, and everybody loves Sarah Jane Smith, our Sarah Jane Smith. And arguably, we were asking ourselves if she is the companion who's seen the most doctors. I would say yes. She rode with John Pertwee, then Tom Baker. Later on, she would come back for David Tennant, and then her own spinoff, the Sarah Jane Adventures, where Matt Smith would come in. And not only that, but if you want to add the 5 doctors into that mix, then you've got, I would think, 8 people in that mix now?
And you've got Dimensions in Time as well.
And I forgot to mention Time. So she's seen her share of doctors, and I think she's a companion with the most, but who knows out there. Please don't forget to get into the chats out there and tell us about your favorite moment of Sarah Jane as we remember her. Liz Sladen, an incredible woman who has touched all of us throughout the Whoniverse out there. We're waiting for the Reverend Almagan to get back. There he is.
Hey.
You okay there, Tom? It's not an experience here unless we have one little crash out there. So, gotcha. So the good thing started off out here. I wanted to, gentlemen, and everybody in the chats, you can say for this up. Thank you, Extras for Show. Thank you, Kevo. He let me know that the School Reunion was the 3rd episode of David Tennant out there. Tell us a little bit about your experience. I'll start with you, Candyman, since you're on the other side of the pond. Tell us about your little experience when you saw Sarah Jane Smith. Do you remember the episode the first time and how you felt about her?
Okay, the first time I probably saw it was one of probably Tom Baker's stories. Can't remember exactly which one. But I do remember watching Canine Company when it was released on BBC, which was quite unique when it was released about 5 o'clock, and it had quite interesting topics for children to see about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. And then School Union is probably one of my favourite episodes with Sarah Jane, where she just turned around. Mickey said, "Oh man, man's worst nightmare is your girlfriend and your ex together."
I remember that.
I think I loved that episode, that thing. I almost got to see Sarah Jane in person.
Oh, you did?
I saw it in person from a distance. So I was at probably MCM Comic Con.
Okay.
And you know when you go to a Comic Con and you get all the people you wanted to get at that con?
Yes.
But then you forget that you didn't actually realise that this other person was going to come to the con.
Okay.
So there's me going around the outside of the convention hall. And right in the middle, on a table, was Sarah Jane, Elisabeth Sladen, doing her science and everything. And, like, I so wanted to go up there and say, "Hi, how you doing?" And then I realised, because I got all my people I wanted to collect, I had run out of cash.
Uh-oh.
So I saw her from afar, and she was just like, it was like, yeah, my Sarah Jane.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't afford to go and see her. And so what happened? I walked out of the Comic Con, not actually get to speak to Sarah Jane, just seeing her from a distance. And then 2 years later, she passed away. So I never got anyone who basically always check who's going to be signing at the Comic Con and go for that person. Always. Yeah. And then try to beg your parents or friends who borrow some money to get it. But yeah, that was my encounter. However, a couple of years later, a long time later, about 10, 12 years ago, I was at Devil's End, which was, we was doing an event at Devil's End, and Sadie was there. So I got to meet Sadie and talk to her, and she's lovely. She's Sarah Jane, Elisabeth Sladen's. And I'm not sure if people don't know about Sadie. She has done Big Finish's audio, and she's taken the role over Sarah Jane. So Elisabeth Sladen, the daughter of Sadie Miller, daughter of I'm tired, sorry.
No, it's fine.
The daughter of Elisabeth Sladen, Sadie Miller, is carrying over Sarah Jane's role from her mother.
Yeah, she's
Big Finish audios, which when you listen to her, you can't tell the difference sometimes.
It is really uncanny that when you listen to the Big Finish audios and you hear Sadie. I really recommend if you at least hear one of her audios out there. I've heard one with Tim Treloar, and it's just really scary to listen to this. Like nothing has changed out there. Andrew's correcting me. Sorry, Z cars. My goodness.
Yeah, that's a British way we pronounce
I'm sorry, Z.
The letter said. It's said.
Kevin says, "Love the Sarah Jane Adventures was the first spin-off to feature a doctor, and she got 2. Yes.
Yep. She got David Tennant and Matt Smith in the Sarah Jane Adventures."
And Roger's just confirming, I believe Sadie Miller continues to do the voice of Sarah Jane Smith for Big Finish Audios. Yes, she does, and she does a tremendous job. I even recommend Tim Treloar, who picked up for the Third Doctor, John Pertwee, and to listen to those two. And especially now, one of the things that some of us older Whovians always begged for was Joe Grant and Sarah Jane to kind of come back into the series. And you can actually hear it on audio. Not only that, but they've expanded on I can't think of her name. I know her actress name, which is kind of Caroline John.
Liz Shaw.
Liz Shaw has come back, and she's kind of in the mix right now. So just to hear the three of them come back with the third Doctor, that is awesome out there. John Hood says, finally watching the show live next. Thank you.
Thank you. Before Ace came onto the scene, my favorite companion was actually K9. So anything to do with K9, I used to love.
Cool.
I think at one time, my mother, for my 8th birthday, actually made a 3-dimensional K9 cake. The problem was the head was so heavy, the head actually fell off. But
oh no!
So it was like a headless K9. Yeah, but it was awesome to do. Awesome to have a 3-dimensional K9 cake. But yeah, my Sarah Jane, and don't forget if you see on YouTube as well, there is Farewell, my Sarah Jane. It's like wraps up Sarah Jane's story.
I got something to say about that, but I don't know if I want to curb it until later or bring it up until now.
Curb it to later, Christian.
Yeah. I'll curb it until later. That sounds like a plan there. Andrew says, with the 3rd Doctor, 4th Doctor, the 5th Doctor, the 5 Doctors, K9 Company, I have yet to see Downtime. I wonder, is that on YouTube, Mark? Do you know if that's on YouTube, Downtime?
Pretty sure it is.
Downtime, I don't think it is. I think Downtime, or does it mean Dimensions in Space? I mean, Dimensions in Time.
Did you say Dimensions?
Yeah.
Downtime.
Look. It's 11:30. I've had an exam today.
That's fine. I have no Dave and no Melanie, so I'm running everything on the board. And I was just like, oh, okay, fine. Well, I guess I'll deal with everything. That's okay. You two have fun out there.
Thank you, Roger.
Gotcha. Well, while Mark's looking that up over there, Nick.
Or you can buy the Origin DVD of Downtime, or is it a Blu-ray? Anyway,
I got the VCR tape of what is it?
Yeah, here you go. Stick the tape.
Zero Imperative.
Wow, it's easy to underestimate how essential Sarah Jane is to Doctor Who. I mean, she runs through it so much, just as we've talked about. When I think back to 74, 75, when I started watching the show, the main thing that hooked me were the cliffhangers, Zygons, Wirren popping out of closet, that kind of thing. But without a companion to react to the monsters or the situations, it wouldn't have meant anything. And Liz Sladen could be feisty, she could be fearful, she could be brave, and she could be sympathetic. We related to her. So she kind of carried that through her whole original run. It was great to see her come back now and again. My mum didn't like her. She hated her. She thought she was annoying.
Really?
But my rebellious streak was like, okay, now my favorite companion. I got to like her a lot. I pulled up a couple of things. Thought, okay, Sarah Jane's...
Wait a minute. Isn't that kind of like having a girlfriend? Your mother just dislikes her. And you're just in that situation like, what do I do now?
Exactly. She comes in the living room. Mum comes in and Sarah Jane's on the telly. She's like, oh, can't stand her. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So I looked at my old books to see if I had anything with Sarah Jane on. Here she is on the cover of the Pyramid of Gods. And also, we talked about a few spin-offs, and I wanted to evangelize about this one. This is the Big Finish audio series.
Yeah.
That Liz Sladen did before Sarah Jane Adventures. It's really good. It's a lot more serious, more adult than the Sarah Jane Adventures, but it has a couple of really good twists. It brings back an old villain in a very clever way. So I really like that series. I did get to meet Liz Sladen. You reminded me, we were talking about this before the show. Have you met her? I encountered her at a convention called Blue Box in the mid-90s. And they had a prop TARDIS. Maybe it was the real TARDIS, but I assume it was a prop. And she popped her head out of the door. And right below her, Sadie popped her head out of the door. So she would have been about 9 or 10 years old. And seeing the two of them, it was such a Doctor Who moment. It gave me chills. So I'll always remember that.
Sweetness out there. And what was your first episode with Sadie?
with
I'm sorry. With Liz. I'm sorry. With Sarah Jane.
That would have been the Ark in Space, way back. Yes.
See, I've told people for the longest time at conventions, full disclosure, I told everybody Robot was my first episode that I caught him for Doctor. I don't even remember.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even break up the episodes that way. It was a show that came on Saturday night, and I say just to get people off me, and just like, yeah, it's Robot. But it could have been any of the episodes. It could have been I know it was the first season of Tom Baker, so it could have been Robot, could have been Ark in Space, could have been Genesis, could have been Revenge of the Cybermen. As far as I know, who knows? But I do know it was his first run, so that's why I say Robot, just to make life easier out there. Let's give it the chats a little bit. Sadie Miller does, yes, Grant J, yes, she does. Sadie doesn't. Andrew added Daisy Ashford, yes, plays Liz Shaw in The Big Finish. Grant continues, yes, Roger, she was a great fun companion and had amazing chemistry with Tom Baker. I enjoyed her performance greatly. And Andrew reminds us about Dimension and Time. What do you guys think about that episode? That just
I think Tom's face says it all.
It's for charity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we're rolling. I mean, I like the fact that we had a multi-doctor episode. You could tell it just looked like it was kind of rushed, for the mere fact of we got to put in 100 people, and then what was it? It was supposed to be a mixture between Coronation Street and
EastEnders
and Doctor Who, and it was just I guess you had to know EastEnders because some of the was just like bizarrely like what's going on over here. So I didn't even know that. And Andrew says, please somebody. No, thanks for asking, Doctor.
So, Nick, as you were talking about downtime, I've got a copy of
okay, let's see that.
So there you can see.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great little story. I think it's a highlight of fan-made or, kind of semi-official Doctor Who. And I'm glad it's out there. I'm glad there was a novelization. And it did develop the characters, not just of Sarah Jane, but also the Brigadier's daughter.
Now, just for the sake, in a brief synopsis, without using spoilers, what was downtime? For people who are not even familiar with that.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Ooh.
We give too much away. Want to try Candyman?
Like skirt around.
How would I say?
Is there a description on the back of the box?
Interesting. Yeah, but I can't read it.
What?
It's a sequel to Abominable Snowman and Web of Fear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it carries it on from Web of Fear in downtime. I think Keith Banfather is the one who directed it. It's from Real Time Productions, and that's on the back.
All right, so some previews out there.
So this one here, that is Kate Lethbridge Stewart. So it's like one of the first stories we get with Kate in it.
Her first appearance. Yeah.
And talking about K9 Company, I do have K9 Company.
Oh, there we go.
And this one here.
I still got the theme song in my head.
Yep. And inside it, if we take the case out, it's a double-sided one. So if you remember all the BBC DVDs looking like this, so you had a collection of K9 companies, as you can see, A Girl's Best Friend. You can either do that way, or you can have it this way.
Oh, gosh.
So it depends if you want it to be stand out from your collection or you want to blend it into your collection. That was one thing on it. And inside it, what did I say?
And she had the most annoying. Was it her nephew?
Brendan.
Yes. Yeah.
Brent.
I mean,
the most weird, cringy line I've ever heard. Brendan, stop honking. I was like, what? What's honking? And speaking of honking, we're going to commercial break. When we return, we're going to speak with Tom and his experience with the lovely, legendary Sarah Jane Smith, better known as Liz Sladen. When we return, we're stay tuned, folks. We will be right back. And I told you I have no producer, so I'm doing this on my own. So everybody in the chat, just
Christian, you will find that red button one day.
What red button? You mean this
exactly.
one?
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join Whovian, the brilliant Mackenzie Flaw, as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Hello, I'm Nick Briggs, and you're listening to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. You say Traveling Time Lord.
Do it again. Just do it again. Just for the count. Okay. Just for the sake. Go ahead, Nick.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Briggs, and this is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Are you sure about that, Nick? Welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. We are here with Nick Smith. We're here with the Candyman, Mark Robinson, and we are here with the Reverend Omegon, all the way on the YouTube channel. What was that?
What was what?
What's that? Whatever you flash on the screen out there.
Oh, me, my Funko. I still got to paint.
Gotcha.
Eddie,
oh, that's you?
That's me. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'll paint them all black, so I'll be the master.
Nice. And we are discussing today of Liz Sladen, better known as Sarah Jane Smith, and her passing, unfortunately. And it's we lost her on April 19th, 13 years ago. This month, and it's I mean, it's been so long to believe that she's been gone this long, but still to this day. And I'm hoping when when more Doctor Who comes out over there, that Sarah Jane's not lost to time, that she will always be a big mark on the Whoniverse as well as the Whovians out there. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and bring him up, the Reverend Omegon. Tom, tell us about your adventures with Sarah Jane. Do you remember what your first episode was?
It was actually the Five Doctors.
Really?
Because back when I was flipping channels one Saturday morning, going through our original PBS station, Channel 24, my original episode was City of Death, but I only caught a glimpse of it. But then, and I stopped watching. I didn't know what I was watching because it was the marathons were going on, the pledge drives. And all of a sudden, I turn on one Saturday. It's like, oh, what's all this? Why are there all these people dressed in these fascinating outfits? And it's like, oh, the Five Doctors. So that's how it brought me in. And see Liz saying, I thought you were all teeth and kills. That was supposed to have been her line, but John liked that line so much, he took it. And from there, it was going back and where PBS went through. They were going forward, then going back, first Doctor. So from there, I was able to see Sarah Jane, era, and then through Tom's era.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, through help, because I could not get any copies here from current Lord President of Guardians of Gallifrey, Arthur Dykman, sent me copies of all the latest new series Doctor Who. So to watch School Reunion, that, and just watching the ending of that, it's like, it still gives me goosebumps. The tears, Sarah Jane. I just so emotional that she came back and that he had to say goodbye to her because she no, say it. So, okay, goodbye, my Sarah Jane. It's like, oh my goodness gracious. And then watching Sarah Jane Adventures, had to watch everything there. And the farewell Sarah Jane, I watched it. I still have the actress Angie when she started crying. So, oh no, I can't watch this again. It's embedded in my mind, saying, well, maybe Sarah Jane is with the Doctor traveling through the stars. Like, she didn't go away. She's just she's continuing travels with the Doctor. So I never met Liz, and I've chatted with Sadie every once in a while on Instagram, but every time we have these moments pop up, someone we all liked, except for Nick's mother.
Oh, Mom.
Yeah. Why, Nick's mom? Why did you despise her?
Now, you said your first visit with Sarah Jane was in the Five Doctors. Were you aware that she was a companion and she had this much history?
No, it was just turning on Saturday again, and what's a show? All these people out there just watching the credits, like Doctor Who. Okay, I need to watch the show. I need to watch Doctor Who. And it was sometime later when I joined the Guardians.
Uh-huh.
But even then, we didn't have anything from Sarah Jane. I think everything was newer. Yes, because it's like everything that came out at the time, PBS was showing 5, 6, and 7. So like, I had no idea. Just watching everything going on, and just But when I started collecting the books, I still have all the Target novels. I should have kept the Star Wars stuff instead, but
no.
But my favorite one was I do have the LP and cassette. I think I did eventually get the CD of Genesis of the Daleks. So that's what I was into. I just listened to it over and over again. Then to finally see it on TV. So, okay, what's missing here that's from the audio only? That could not be put, from television, because there's some narration, but it's like the line she said about the Daleks are the most ruthless creatures ever. But what do I do? The wires from the Fourth Doctor. They're just
right from Genesis, and then when I was a kid, I never really appreciated that scene until I got older, and then started realizing what that scene meant. I thought it was, the Daleks are going to blow up, and she comes out and says her thing, and just like if it were, what was it? Something like if it were a virus or a plague or something like that.
I swear it was a child.
No, if it were a virus or something, you wouldn't hesitate or something like that.
Oh.
But I like the fact that she was always the voice of reason up against the Doctor. Her and Harry Sullivan, and they were a cute little duo too that played off each other out there.
Harry Sullivan, you're an idiot.
And John Hood, who reminds us, Andrews. Yeah, that does give me nightmare fuel. If you remember, what was it? What episode was
Robots?
that?
No, it's
Android Invasion.
No, you're right.
Android Invasion.
The Android Invasion. Yeah, there is a scene. Well, spoilers, but yeah, the Android Sarah Jane will give you nightmare fuel. I was like all the androids when you discover they're androids. Yeah, exactly. You're just like freaked out all of a sudden. They're just like, oh damn.
Talking about androids,
that really got me going there. Talking about, what does this button do?
Oh, no.
That's actually what I ask every time I hit one of these things. And then we have a big red button that I am not supposed to touch until the end of the show.
Do it. No.
Talking about androids, it just came to me in the first episode I remember with Sarah Jane. It was with Tom Baker, and it was period Pyramids of Mars. Was my first one.
Okay.
It was Pyramids of Mars, yeah.
So everybody's in the chats right now. Go ahead and tell us your favorite Sarah Jane episode, and it can be from the Sarah Jane Adventure, or it could be K9 and Company itself. And what am I doing here?
I don't know.
We're pondering what favorite story. I'm thinking Pyramid of Mars is my favorite as well.
I have these on my hand. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Sorry,
Tommy, you want to explain what's on my hand here?
And I'm the one that said it.
Yeah, you're the one who said it. Go ahead.
I'm the one that said I forgot. Ew, silly me. Today,
I was
April
hoping the
20th,
team would go up on this, but go ahead, Tom.
The 23rd
You're the
of
one
April
who asked me to do this.
23rd of April is Impossible Astronaut Day from the 11th Doctor series, where those people. That reminds me, Nick. What was that second dice that you?
You know what? I really don't know. We'd have to ask the Silence.
Silence is golden.
If only could remember who the Silence were out there. But yeah, happy
Silence.
Happy.
So to remember, you have to mark tally marks all over your body, and I was not going to do that. I was expecting everyone else on the panel to do so. Well,
you don't get this. Tom sent us a message, so I expect everybody to have tally marks, and I'm the only idiot who pulled that off. So
you got to be
Mr. Tallyman.
Also did it with a Sharpie, so it's going to be there for a while. Great. Andrew Boyce, first time I saw Liz Sladen as Sarah Jane was the Five Doctors. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Tom. Then I saw some old classic episodes with the third, and I remember her with a spider on her back. Picture that gives me nightmare fuel every now and then was that, because also, what was it? Later on, Donna would have an insect on her back, so I'm just like, dang it.
Well, spider versus a cockroach. I don't know.
Exactly. And the third Doctor regenerating into the fourth Doctor.
How did you guys find Sarah Jane from when she first started as Doctor, with the Doctor, back with John Pertwee, until her character at the very end? Like in Sarah Jane Adventures.
I'm sorry, what was the question, Mark?
How did you find Sarah Jane's character? Because you can see over how she's evolved, like with the third Doctor getting dumped in Aberdeen, I think, by the fourth Doctor, and then meeting up with the 10th Doctor in Reunion, and then meeting her up again in Sarah Jane Adventures. Her character's developed over time. Did you prefer her at the beginning of Sarah Jane, or did you prefer her when she's more of a Sarah Jane Adventures character, when she became like a mother figure to the children, or did you prefer her as being like the investigative journalist?
Your question is morphing. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to say that.
I see what you're doing there. I would have to say, see, here's the hard part. It's really because it's hard to explain, because she's developing the character. And even I remember in some interviews, Liz Sladen had some concerns, because when she was doing it with John and Tom, and the same thing happened with Louise Jameson, by the way, happy birthday to her, just a couple days ago, I believe. Their concern was, what is a doctor? What is a doctor? Is a lookout doctor. So it didn't seem to have to me, she had a different formula when she was with John and Tom. And she was kind of developing into the woman that she would eventually be when she finally shows up in School Reunion. And she's a little bit more, you could tell that she was a little bit more developed. When you could tell she was having fun with Billy Piper, with the scene where they're kind of laughing at 10 for the Mrs. and the X together scene, and they're just basically bantering each other. What was it? The Loch Ness Monster scene, where they're having their little fight. It's hard to ascertain because I like Sarah Jane all the way across. I like the Sarah Jane who was with Tom and John, but I also like the Sarah Jane who was with Matt and David. And I like the Sarah Jane who ran through the Sarah Jane Adventures. I haven't seen them all, but I've seen the first 2 seasons and and a couple episodes thereafter. And it's really hard to say because she's just developing all the way. And Kevo brings up this. I think Sarah Jane's evolution is a template for bringing back classic characters in the 21st century. Yeah, we've been begging for the longest time. I think, Kevo, you're right. There are so many good stories, good villains, good companions that kind of just were put to the side that are never getting their chance to see the light. And I think today, if you were to bring them out in the light with current Who, I think you would see a totally different story about them, and they would be much more fun.
We have Mel.
Mel, yeah.
We find have Mel as a computer programmer.
Yeah, I would love to see more characters. And you know what? As funny as it sounds, what happened to Turlo? I mean, he went back home to run his planet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's going on with his planet. I think for the older Whovians, it's nice because they get to see the characters that that the Doctor was with and develop into the new Who, and with new Who folks who've never seen the classic stuff, it doesn't matter because they've already developed characters and they can move on with the new stories that they give them. I think that's an awesome way, and so thrilled to see RTD already continuing to bring back her more into fashion. Let's get a shift on, Roger. Let's see here. The voice of the Daleks himself, Nick Briggs. Yep, there's 2. I think there's 1 or 2, at least 1 episode that I know that he's been on. And yes, he messed up our title name, and that's okay. Got a question from Roger. What does the big red button in the episode Christmas Invasion do? It does that. Stops the Sycorax, I guess. Andrew says Sarah Jane became more of a leader and a confident character, and I enjoyed her throughout. And if I'm not mistaken, when she started off with John, she was a totally different person. Because I'm not using this in a mean way, but she was more of a feminist. If you saw the reaction with, gosh, the stories are just going across my head, but on the planet with Alpha Centauri.
Yeah. The monster.
The Peladon stories. The monster Peladon.
Monster? Okay.
When she's on her own, she's a completely different person than what she has developed when she was working with Tom, and then completely different person, I think, in my opinion, when she comes back to school reunion. She's a little more wiser. She's a little bit more angst because she was dropped off in the wrong spot. So she lets the Doctor know about that. So
okay, just for you guys who don't know, Aberdeen is in Scotland, so that's north of England.
Mm-hmm.
And where she actually lives was Croydon, which is South London. So that would be like if you was living in Florida, getting drop off at Stanford, and you need to be down in Miami.
Stanford.
Just take I-95 south. Nico Bat, I love the banter between Sarah Jane and School Reunion. I loved her and her son in Stolen Earth. Andrew says, I am currently watching the Sarah Jane Adventures on Series 3 at the moment. Wish. And Nico Bat says, I love School Reunion and the Stolen Earth. She was so heroic. Yeah, when she had the thing that the Dwarf Star or whatever that thing is that blow up everything, which I thought was a little bit of a MacGuffin, but I let it slide because it's Sarah Jane. Yes, Kevo there. Kevo continues, very exciting in this era of reboots to see how young characters that we grew up with have developed into adults. And I'm looking forward to seeing how even modern characters like Donna and Yes come back in the same way as they grow older. Yeah. I also want to see not only growing older, but how were they influenced by the Doctor? What did the Doctor do to them? What kind of influence was the Doctor to these folks? So yeah, that's some good stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, Nick and Tom? Did you want to continue on answering Mark's question?
Yeah, I just had a couple of things to say. I mean, at the beginning, she's very, very skeptical. She doesn't believe that she's traveled in time. Who would? And she really kind of pushes the fact that this is, she's at some Renaissance fair or something in the Time Warrior. So there we go. So it's great to see her develop, to become more open-minded to wild things happening. And then in her later shows to see her, adopting the role of a parent. So she goes from, someone who's just almost like the conscience, the human side of the Fourth Doctor especially, to, taking the leadership role, guiding some kids, having adventures, and just getting braver and braver as she goes on. It's a joy to watch.
Kevo says, I've done that drive in a day. I've done it shorter. What was it that George Carlin says? If the cops didn't see it, I didn't do it. Roger says, otherwise, let's just wait for the unit spinoff. That's your department there, my friend, my candy man.
As long as I don't get another new uniform, I'll be happy.
Gotcha. Well, let me pose this question to the chats and to everybody. April 19th happens 13 years ago. She passes from pancreatic cancer. What was the first thing that went through your mind, guys, when you heard that Elisabeth Sladen had passed?
Shock and dreadful.
Yeah, disbelief, because although she was a grown adult, she seemed so young. She seemed so full of life, so young at heart that it didn't seem to be her time.
For me, I felt like, when you see someone on TV all your life.
Yeah.
And the problem with when you watch things on TV, it gets like in a status cube. That's why it was just like it's always there.
Right.
And then when you actually realise that the actress who played Sarah Jane is now gone, you're like, this is my childhood. This is a bit of my childhood. This is a bit of a thing. And it's like a piece from your childhood taken away, sort of thing. If that makes sense. It's like I put my hands up. I had the tear in my eyes, and I think I cried a little bit when I found out. I was like really, really shocked.
When I grew up, I'm sorry.
No, carry on, Christian. Carry on.
No. Andrew says, I am very upset and not ashamed to say I shed a tear too. And I felt the same way too. I felt empty. My first inclining, I guess I grew up a little different because I was a little bit younger. And I know a lot of guys who around us said that they had a crush on Sarah Jane. And I didn't. I kind of thought she was like my sister at my age. That's how I took it. It was just like my sister who I went on adventures with this guy, with the doctor, and Harry Sullivan was my big idiot brother. That's kind of how I saw it when I was a kid. And so it probably was the age, and it was like, it wasn't until Leela that everything changed, and then use your imagination there. But exactly, stop it. But that's how I saw it. And when the announcement came that she passed, first of all, it was disbelievement. I'm just like, she's not gone. Somebody, misprinted this or wrote this wrong. It can't be true. She just got her own series. She's back on things, and we're going to see her in 100 more episodes. And she's going to be with Doctor whoever, 45 is going to be, and she's going to keep running. So it was big disbelief, and I can only equate it as if, I've never had a sister. So I had to, it was in my mind that I just lost my sister. I know that sounds weird, but that's how I felt. It was just like something akin in my heart that I grew up with is gone, and they're not coming back. And I never got the opportunity to see her. And that was the most painful thing. I was just like, yeah, she's going to be coming to the States. She's going to do conventions here. she's going to go all the way touring, and we're going to see her, and that wasn't meant to be. So I never even got the chance to say hello and thank you, for being part of everything in my life, for helping me grow up, for watching her on TV and just appreciating Sarah Jane even more. It was kind of a loss to me. Roger says probably the same way that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Texas the same year Doctor Who debuted. What's that little thing that they talk about in Star Trek? It was like, or was it Star Trek or Star Wars? It's like a 1,000 whispers went quiet or something.
1,000 voices went quiet.
Quiet, yeah. I would say 1,000 Whovians went quiet that day. Thousands, millions of Whovians. Let's get the number right. Went quiet that day. They just didn't disbelief. And whether you came in at the time that I came in with her, or earlier with John Pertwee, or if you came in, as late as the Sarah Jane Adventures, everybody I think felt the same way. Yeah. That we lost a big part of the Whoniverse out there. Andrew says, not weird at all, Christian. Some characters and the actors who play them become like virtual family. Yeah, that's true. I won't say that.
They're in our homes. They're right there with us.
Exactly.
Living rooms, bedrooms, Part of our lives.
It was the same thing. I'm just trying to get people's heads around this to try to explain, but Johnny Carson. I stood up late night watching Johnny Carson, and when he had his last episode, it was like, no, he's going to be back on, tomorrow night, and he wasn't. And then when he was, he was taken away, it was just like, damn, and the amount of stuff that he did, just like Liz Sladen with Sarah Jane, the amount of stuff that she put together, that's nothing to sneeze at. And I'm hoping that there'll be more stuff and material, especially now that her daughter Sadie's taken over the mantle as far as Big Finish Audios. Wouldn't it be cool if Sadie were actually Sarah Jane's daughter by some chance, that she just made it to the big screen? No, that's just me. No, they're on our pillowcases now, Nick. So. Boy, I was a buzzkill. Thanks, everybody. I just brought down the show out there. But if you have, we're coming up to the end of the show. So if anybody has any thing that you want to talk about how Liz Sladen made you feel and about maybe meeting her, please let us know out there. Kevo continues. It says, I think Liz's loss was especially devastating because we had just lost. That's true. We did lost the Brigadier. Only 2 months earlier, that was 2 Titans at once. Yeah, absolutely. So the Third Doctor, the Brigadier, and Sarah Jane, and for that matter, Harry Sullivan are out there in the universe, just playing in the heavens. So yeah, 2 big Titans. And that's the sucky part too about being in the States when your favorite TV show's on the other side of the pond, because it's harder to see these people. It's not like you can go to a convention and just meet up with them. It's like you got to make your way over to the other side of the pond. You get a chance to meet them, and hopefully, you get that chance. And life's too short. Kevo says they hugely represented Classic Who for the new generation. Sadly, Moffat didn't bring anyone in to replace them. Andrew Morris, I love some of the speeches she did in Sarah Jane Adventures. Yeah. I'm the only one that kind of likes K9 in the closet, in the space closet. Like, open it up.
Is that the smartphone space closet thing?
Yep.
Yes.
It is. Signed by Matt Irvin and John.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, K9. But on a serious note, if anyone who is actually struggling with grief or having problems dealing with grief, because everyone's human, and there are people out there. I'm not sure about the US, but I know the UK do Samaritan's telephone number, and they will just was happy to speak to you. And it is something that we all go through. And it's also good to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And especially, it doesn't even matter if it's the holidays. If there's sometimes, I can personally say that I've been through it as well. Just most recently, and it's just if you need time to take off and do it, if you feel that if the weight of everything is getting onto you, talk to somebody, talk to a friend, talk to a family member. It doesn't matter. Even if you know the numbers to, those hotlines that can help. If you need to talk to somebody, just talk to somebody. Get them to get off that ledge and come back to us, because it's not worth it. And there was a line from somewhere that I wrote on my own Facebook page. This is let me see if I can find it. In the meantime, let me go ahead and read John's comment. Sarah Jane was like a childhood crush. It was heartbreaking when the news broke that Liz had passed away. I was lucky to see her at her 20th celebration at Longleat in 1983. Wow.
I would have been 6 years old then. Sorry, John.
You don't age, Mark. Just be real.
Look, I may be young once, but I'm immature forever.
So am I.
And Tom. And what about you, Nick? Are you a grown up?
You already know I was watching this show in the 70s, but I wanted to go to the 20th celebration in 1983, but my mom didn't want to go. We finally made it to the gates, but by then they were just shutting down the celebration, and they didn't even have a program for me. So we drove all the way home. It was very sad.
Aww.
Not as sad as losing Liz, I have to say.
This is me yelling at myself not to say Downtown Abbey. It's Downton Abbey, not Downtown Abbey.
Hey, you got Z cars. You can have Downtown Abbey. It's all good.
I have Z cars and Downtown Abbey. Yes. Well, it was a line. I thought it's on my Facebook page. You want to find it there, but it was something like, "Don't ever," for a better term, I'm paraphrasing. The line is even better from the page, but it says, "Don't doubt the hole that you leave in your absence," meaning that you never see how you reflect to other people, and the way that people feel about you. But if you're not there, then you're leaving a hole for everybody to just grieve over it down there. I'm still grieving the loss of Bray Wyatt last year. Mark Robinson. Who's Bray Wyatt? I'm sorry. Mark? Oh, we don't have audio, dude. Oh no.
Mime, you way through it all.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt was a wrestler.
Oh, okay. Has that made its way over
like
there?
I said, it's like everyone loses someone, even their clothes or even in his fan base. So if you are struggling, talk.
Yeah. Just talk to somebody out there. Andrew says, I've been watching Bill Bailey going for walks in nature to help men talk about issues. That's good. I'll probably check it out. Yes, Andrew, I know. Downtown New York Happy. I'll go visit. All of us are 18 or younger when we watch Doctor Who. Yep. Yeah. Probably younger. John Hood, Nick, our paths could have crossed at Longleat before university. And yeah, now this one, there is a video. I think it's called Farewells to Sarah Jane, or somebody said it was the funeral of Sarah Jane. There is a Sarah Jane tribute where it comes to the end, and I'm not trying to down this thing. This is just me personally, because at the end of Sarah Jane Adventures, there's the line that comes up and says, and her adventures continue, or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm like the Doctor. I don't like endings. I really wanted the adventures end. And then when they put this out, which I know it was a sweet tribute to Liz Sladen and her character Sarah Jane, I'm just like, I just didn't want her to go. I just thought they should have left her just, arbitrarily just being out there somewhere, and use our imaginations to where she could have ended up. But if anybody's interested in looking at that, thank you, Andrew. Farewell to Sarah Jane. The YouTube link is in the chat right now. Sorry, my computer froze.
No worries, I was coughing, so
I think we're all having technical issues. We're all having technical issues out there.
Oh, I put it in a private chat. I didn't put it in the oops.
Oh no.
The link. I posted in the private chat only. I didn't
Oh,
post
did
it on
you? Oh, okay. Well, guys, I bunned us out. Kevo says, "I'm glad. I'm glad." And by the way, Kevo, check out Kevo on X's for Show over and on the YouTube channel out there. I'm glad they finally did something. Her character deserved closure. I wish they had done something at the time and kept Sarah Jane going in her honor. They are talking about having the kids take over, from what I understand, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I need people to double check this out.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But isn't one of the kids who played in Sarah Jane's Adventure also the monster in
character? I can't remember character.
In the Teslon, Nicholas Tesla's episode. And I think she also got married to Sasha Darwin.
Oh, wow. Mm.
I didn't know they were married. I thought they were just friends.
Girl who played Ronnie?
Yes. Ronnie, yes.
Oh, there you go. Kevo's confirmed it. Yeah, it was the girl who played Ronnie, which I think is...
Ronnie lives on in the audio stories. She's got her own Big Finish box set, and she has popped up on a couple of other things too. So they're really trying to kind of keep her going or bring her back slowly but surely, which is great.
Did they make a in memory of for Liz Sladen in the main show? I think they did. I think they did. I don't remember which episode, but it was just I read somewhere that they did out there. By the way, that's not the Ronnie that you're thinking of. It's not the Katie O'Mara Ronnie, which always screws me up every time I hear Ronnie. Oh my God, they are partnered now. Yeah.
I was just checking that out.
Okay.
I hear Kevo.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, partner Sasha Darwin.
She did marry Sasha Darwin. Okay.
Although doesn't know it's just partner.
Are we gonna have that little mess up that we have with Davison and Tennant and Georgia Moff? She was Ronnie and she married the master. That sounds bizarre now. Might as well go on the other side out there. Good for them. Hot couple. Yes, 15 mentioned Sarah Jane is gone in the giggle. No, I know what you're talking about, Kevo. Yeah, I did see the clip on for that, but I think there was a memoriam, just like a little like ditty that came up, and it was one of the could have sworn it was one of the Matt Smith or Capaldi episodes. I'm not sure, but it was just like a memoriam to her, for a quick memoriam shot to her. But yeah, then they finally said it in Doctor Who Prime that she is gone. So there we go. That was the case. Goodbye, Bannerman Road.
Yeah.
And tears for Sarah Jane. So Andrew Morris, thank you for doing that research and bringing it up in the chats. All right, guys. Since I pulled out a bummed out topic.
No, it's good to talk.
It is good to talk.
It's good to talk. Whatever the problem is, it's good to talk.
And we got some great comments from the chats.
Yeah, so, wonderful chats. Wonderful stuff. Well, before we go, did anybody have anything they wanted to bring up beforehand?
Oh, Tom.
Trying to get my fingers right here.
Give me the finger.
I give you the finger.
Go ahead, Tom.
What?
Did you have something to say?
No, I was trying to point at Nick and Mark.
Oh, okay.
Besides pushing our own pages, that's all we ever do.
I don't know.
Fine.
We push what we have, that's the end thing. But
yes, we do.
Nothing to. Like, what are we talking? What are we gonna do next week? We don't know yet.
Anyway, the second official major con that we're going to be going to, thanks to MegaCon. After that, we are going to Space Coast Comic Con. on the Space Coast of Florida, June 15th through the 16th. You can go to their Facebook page for tickets and locations. The Traveling TARDIS will be out there, as well as DALEKHAL. So be on the lookout for that. Again, it's taking place. I don't have the location, but if you go to the Facebook page, look up Spaceboat Comic Con, you can get tickets. And is everybody really? You know what? Here we go. There we go. There. Space Coast Comic Con. June 15th and 16th, DALEKHAL will be there with a bunch of everybody of your favorite folks down there in the Space Coast, Fat Man Comics, Space Coast Comics, and a whole lot more. And that's going to be taking place in, I believe, Melbourne. And I don't have the facility. So if one of you guys do me a favor, can you look up the information for Space Coast Comic Con so I can...
It's, I'm just trying to do it. I put it up on the Traveling TARDIS website.
I was guessing it was to be the mall, but...
No, we had the Mall Con. We had Square Mall Con. That were fun. People were coming out. They were really interested. But we're gonna have a DALEKHAL, and I don't want to give too much away, but we are in talks with DALEKHAL and possibly, I'll say, something special. Hopefully in October, and that month is important. If you really think about it. Ruby Sunday is still filming for Series 2. Yes, that is confirmed out there. So, alrighty.
Okay.
I think I can find it. Hang on a second.
It's in Melbourne. It's Wickham Park Community Centre, Ledger Way, Melbourne.
Thank you. The Wickham Park Community Centre will be out there on Saturday and Sunday with DALEKHAL. So you can get pictures, videos, fun stuff. And good old Blue will be out there as well.
Right.
And you check us out. So, without further ado, from all of us here at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, thank you so much for joining us. It's good to be back after just a bit of a hiatus. Well, it was longer than that. And don't forget, before you leave, go out the door, thank you for watching us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, follow, all that good stuff that you do, not only for us, but your favorite YouTubers as well, just like the Reverend Omegon, just like X4 Show, because they really appreciate all the support we can get. So again, before you do that, go ahead and subscribe out there. Anybody got any last minute things before I hit the button?
Nick?
The red button? You're going to hit the red button?
The red button.
No, just...
Kevo just reminded us.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. You can do that thing.
I'll put the anger button up there.
Hey,
fine. Don't forget to say goodbye on your way out there, folks. Where is it? I told you I can't produce my own show.
Just push the anger button.
All the buttons.
Tony, take us out. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you at Space Coast Comic Con.